It's not that I don't want you here. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Overflow. My name is Rosalind.
I'm Brian.
And we are here to just share our overflow when it comes to love, relationships, general adulting, and a little bit of laughter in between.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, really just here, sharing our experiences and really just starting a conversation. Feel free to join in the comments below. Tonight we were going to talk about like gender roles and how they're not good, especially if you're not really like defining for your relationship.
Yeah, but first we're going to talk about what we learned this week.
Yeah, what we learned this week.
What are we learning, or what have we learned this week? This week I am relearning what patience is. Patience as in staying the same and being consistent no matter what your environment is doing. Patience as in having inner peace while in a storm. And that is not a past tense learned. That is something I am learning.
Yeah.
This
week.
So
you're just saying like just things like when just life you're learning.
Yeah, it's not as situational as it is relational. Not us, but just people be peopling and hurt people be hurt peopling, and knowing that someone isn't well doesn't always make it easier to deal with their behavior, especially if you are in close proximity with them and often, and not reverting back into old habits, old patterns, and not stepping outside of myself like I find myself wanting to do is a lesson in patience, and I am still a student of that lesson. I have yet to graduate, but I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah. And I guess for me, learning to really just as a reminder, I think just keep being consistent. Like, don't worry about the views, or don't worry about praise, or don't worry about being seen. Being just consistent in just my content, just showing up, realizing that everything I am doing is important, no matter what somebody is saying or what somebody, it doesn't matter the acknowledgement or not. What I am doing is important.
Yeah.
Being consistent and consistently showing up, it will, bear fruit. So don't do it for the views, or don't do it for,
anyone clapping or
yeah,
understanding.
Yeah, just understanding. Even when your expectations for something that you did is very high. And I think that's what it is. It's no matter my expectations, don't still be consistent. Even if your expectations for something that you didn't get acknowledged. Just keep showing up. I think that's
and the result doesn't meet your expectation.
Yeah,
continue to be consistent. Yeah, that's a good lesson.
So don't get discouraged yet.
That's what we're learning this week.
So
I'm curious though if other people like pay attention to what lessons they're learning, or like what is the lesson of this season of my life, or for us, what are we learning this week, or what is God trying to tell us, or what haven't I really learned yet, and I'm having to, what I thought I already learned that lesson and now I'm going through something similar again. I'm curious if other people, if you do, let us know. But I just wonder not only if they pay attention to it, but like what are other people learning right now? Like, what are y'all going through? What are y'all learning? What lessons do you see clearly? Like,
I think I try to learn.
Having to learn this.
I think I try to know what I'm learning in that season, but I think I I think doing this has helped me remind myself that I am learning something new. And I think sometimes you just feel like you may be learning the same lesson, or you're trying to figure out this season's lesson. But
I feel like even since, for the most part, pretty much since we've met, 2006, we're able to ask, all right, what is God trying to teach me? Like, I remember us having those conversations when we were just friends and just dating. Like, what is God trying to teach me? What is God trying to show me? What's the point of this? And usually it's when you're going through, or when we're going through something difficult and we're, talking to each other about it. But like, what is God trying to say here? What am I supposed to be getting from this? So I think we have been, doing it on some level, but maybe not as intentional and as quickly into the lesson, identifying what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that, like, just the cycle of, like, the thoughts. I see, like, us being more aware of it, you know what I'm saying? But not, like,
Yeah, because before we would ask each other, like, what do you think God is trying to tell you? What do you think you're supposed to be learning?
Yeah.
So we would remind each other.
And that's usually when we, like, I can see that you're really frustrated about something. Or, like, I can see that the problem is becoming something more of you need help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think vice versa for me. You're like, what is God we're trying to point each other back to the source, and not just really just like, oh, what you got going on? You're not like chastising each other or something like that. But yeah, let us know.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I may be nosy, but
yeah, just a little bit.
What did we say to our son? We said something. I said did I say he's being nosy?
No, I said he was being nosy.
And he said, I'm just curious. And I said, okay, advocate for yourself.
he was supposed to be cuddling with you for like a minute or so and trying to stay up a little bit later for bedtime. And I was like, man, you just being nosy right now. Because he was just trying to look
asking a bunch of questions.
Yeah, asking a bunch of questions, trying to see what's on her phone or my phone. And I was like, hey, man, you just being nosy. And he was like, I'm just being curious,
First of all, I love that he has a voice and he uses it.
Yeah.
And second of all, I love that he feels safe enough and comfortable enough with us to say it with his chest. And he didn't have an attitude or anything like that. He's not really old enough. He's still 6, so we haven't moved too deep into attitude territory. So he's still super sweet, but he goes, I'm just curious. And he says it in the softest little sweet voice.
Yeah, because he knew that I wasn't like...
And I was just like, that's right, Daddy. He's just curious,
I'm like, but he still knows he's still going to bed, So,
and he did.
Yeah, he did. So, yeah, I like the word change.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he did that. But... yeah, but starting on tonight's topic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gender roles.
Gender roles. So, what was your perception, or like when you grew up, thinking about like what is a woman's role or a man's role?
I don't know. For me, because of my childhood, gender roles weren't really... I mean, my mom has always had an entrepreneurial spirit, so she's always been like pursuing her own. I think her first entrepreneurial venture was like Mary Kay, like back in the 90s. Building something on her own. Mm-hmm. And I think, and then my dad was in the military, so he was a cleaner, It wasn't like, oh, mom did all the cleaning. Like, my dad is the one that had us scrubbing walls and doing the military corners on our beds. Like, if you know, you know. Like, sheets are supposed to be tucked in a specific way. Nice. The top sheet, not the fitted sheet. It's supposed to be tucked a certain way. I haven't subjected my husband to any of that, but I was raised like that. And so, like, baseboard, like all of that, the Saturday cleaning was led by my dad. He's always known how to cook because he lived on his own, and he's an oldest child, and so he did a lot. he lived on his own before getting married to my mom, so he knew how to take care of himself. He didn't have any sons, and so he taught us what he knew: cooking, cleaning, taking care of the lawn. You know, there were no sons to mow the lawn, and he didn't have us so spoiled that we didn't have to touch a lawnmower. We had to mow the lawn. You know, we had to rake the leaves in the fall. We had to do all of that. And
he had you out there.
He had us out there. I mean, I got to mow the back. My sister got to mow the front. Like, we were out there. And, yeah. And then my mom, same thing. Like, cleaning. They cared about different things as far as what was clean and what wasn't. Mm-hmm. And so my dad was more about cleanliness, like cleaning, and my mom was more about like clutter.
Like, get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it, or like put it back in its space. Yeah. And then my dad didn't like to see dirt, so it was all covered. Yeah, I don't know. Roles, I mean, and we were all, like, my dad took care of us. They split up for a while, like halfway, we were preteens. Mm-hmm. Menstrual cycles came, and we were living with mom, you know? So, for the most part, he took care of us. We were going back and forth when they were split up. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't like a dad couldn't take care of children. Like, I never experienced that, you know? And living military, it wasn't like we were around family that much, that ideology, you know, was like put on us.
Or something like that.
Yeah, or just, you know, cousins living close. That didn't really happen until we were like teenagers, you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so everyone kind of lived similarly in the military that we knew about. At least that my parents associated with, you know? Mm-hmm. When we walked into a house, it wasn't weird to see a dad doing the dishes or changing a diaper, you know? Just
getting stuff done.
Getting stuff done, yeah. So when I got married, I didn't look at my husband and expect to serve him, and he just gets to sit back and not do anything, and I cook and clean. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
So absurd.
I need a drink.
First of all, he's polite, so like that wouldn't have even come out his mouth.
No, it's not.
It would have been a question.
It would have been a question.
And I did 9 times out of 10 the answer is yes, unless you made me mad.
Yeah. Or unless it's like,
and then I'm gonna go out of my way to get my own drink
downstairs or somewhere. You like, man.
Yeah. I don't remember coming into our marriage with those types of stereotypes. I do remember us having undefined roles, mm-hmm. and me just naturally, because of growing up and being raised to be codependent, taking on more than what was discussed, and then now I'm burning out, and my husband's like, well, I didn't ask you to do that.
Yeah, facts, yeah.
I don't care if you do that. And I'm, you know, an angry fairy around the house taking care of everything, and he doesn't care. And so therapy helped facilitate those conversations, or help me find the language to initiate those conversations. And yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Like, from the beginning, like, I didn't do your laundry.
No, none of that.
We had his and hers closets.
Well, we talked about this kind of stuff.
Well, you did your own laundry as a teenager. Like, his mom didn't do his laundry, so he knew how to do his own laundry. And our closets were separated. And I even asked, like, do you want me to do your laundry? And at the time, he was working at Quick Trip, and he was like, no, my clothes smell like sweat and coffee, and I don't
Yeah, I just didn't like you just handling my clothes. I just thought it was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think nobody wants to touch anybody else's dirty drawers. You know what I'm saying?
I was willing to, but I wasn't going to fight him for it.
I know. And I appreciate it, but I was just like, no, I can handle that. Because I'm not going to wash her. I was like, she going to handle her own laundry.
You wouldn't wash my dirty drawers?
I would wash her dirty drawers, but I'm just saying, like, if you needed me to. I'm just not volunteering just to, like, I hate laundry. So I wouldn't.
There's laundry sitting on the bed right
put
now.
Another burden, you know? And that's just, I think, you're my gender roles of seeing, like, growing up My mom did everything in the house. She cooked, cleaned, did the yard work, helped with homework. She went back to school, nursing school, and man, she did all that, you know. And then my dad, of course, worked, and he would do like some yard work, but man, he was, you know, stereotypical. Hey man, I'm home. I'm home late. Give me my time. You know, give me my time. Give me my chill out time. Eat my dinner. You know, hey y'all be good. You know, get a little talking to, and then you know we're either all watching TV, you know, or we're all chilling out, and then we just go to bed. You know what I'm saying? So my mom was really just handling everything, you know. So I think my expectation of a wife, just in general, was somebody who is going to be a worker. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna work with me. I wasn't gonna get no girl, no trophy, just like wife, you know.
Although after working for this many years, I could be a stay-at-home wife and be happy.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying like
I'd have some like philanthropy things going on, but I see the
this lady, you can't even stay still. You can't even stay still. Don't even. This lady was pregnant, and she couldn't even. She was trying to rearrange the whole apartment.
First of all,
you couldn't sit down. You couldn't even sit down before you was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think it's just not in her nature.
I could, if I wanted to be.
She could take a nap, but that's not sitting down like.
All I'm saying is I'm not mad at the stay-at-home wives now that I've lived.
Yeah, but I'm not saying like stay at home. I'm just talking about like, cause they even stay-at-home wives work. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that woman who wants me to hire a cleaner, who wants to hire, you know what I'm saying? Just all those things. Yeah, that's what I'm
talking about.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna say that. You're gonna be like, man, you're gonna do. We'll see when we get there. Things change.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to sit still, but
you'll be doing
some
other projects.
The fact is, I can if I want to.
Yeah, the option's always nice, but that was my expectation. You know what I'm saying? Of course, just expectation on myself, a man taking and leading and providing. That was a big thing for me. That's what even delayed us getting married for so long, because I was like, man, I am not going to propose to you, and I don't even got a place for you to stay. You know, I'm not going to.
And I would have lived in a box. I was like, I don't care. I'll live in a box. Like, way too many rom-com influences.
Yeah,
but
don't ever believe that.
I will live in a box, and it'll be us against the world.
Don't believe that, guys. Love is great. It's a decision. The emotion, boy, it got you doing crazy things, but...
And I would have.
Yeah, but that was a big thing for me. So the roles and seeing that. Also seeing my mom struggle with doing all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Of course, my dad working, but I saw that there was opportunities where he could have been more active. You know what I'm saying? So it opened my mind to say, okay, that maybe... if I'm more open, you know, to my partner, that, you know, my wife wouldn't have all these burdens. I want to share. I want to be a real partner. I want her to feel that way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We both were a little bit in the beginning, well, a lot of it in the beginning, anti-spousing. So we saw the way a certain parent, so for me it was my mom, and for him it was his dad, and we saw the way that they were a spouse, and we were anti what they were doing, and we had to learn, like, that's not good either. Just like, you know, when you talk about parenting your child, and, you know, you give your child everything you didn't have, well, sometimes they need the things that you did get that you didn't like.
Yeah.
You know, or sometimes they need the things that you didn't even think of, but you're so worried about what you didn't get that you're not being open to what they need, you know. Same thing in a marriage, when you see even like what your dad was doing, and you vowed to not do any of those things. And sometimes if we're looking too much at another person and not doing what they did, we're missing what the person in front of us actually needs. Yeah. And so we had to learn. just that. Like now, I don't do dishes. I hate.
Yeah.
I hate doing dishes. I used to get waken up at whatever o'clock in the morning because we left a pot, a spoon, like just. It doesn't matter if you have school the next day. Get up, wash these dishes, and it'd be a dish, you know. And so as an adult, I don't want to. And we made a deal. I'll do bathrooms. He does the kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't do dishes. And Brian don't scrub bathroom floors. He don't clean the tub unless I ask him to. Like if our son has to take a bath, I'm like, can you clean the tub real quick? But other than that, I'm the one cleaning the tub, the toilet, the sink. Like I clean the bathroom. Yeah. And he does the kitchen. Until it needs to be deep cleaned, and then I do it.
Yeah.
Because I do it correctly.
It would just yeah, and that's one of the roles that we kind of cleared in the sense of like not saying, you know, hey, this person needs to do this.
Yeah, people look at us like we're crazy when I say I don't do the dishes. My husband does that.
Yeah, or we cook, or they say like doing Owen's hair, they be like. Everybody, your wife did a good job on his hair. And I'd be like, nah. And then Owen corrects him. He'd be like, nah, my dad did my hair.
First of all, don't play about his daddy. Because he gonna correct you every time. I said I'm a good driver. And he was like, daddy's a good driver. First of all, I never said he wasn't.
Yeah.
Don't play about his daddy.
Hey, so yeah, and people just look at, oh, man, you did a good job. And I'll be like, yeah, you know.
The thing is, whoever has the time for it.
Yeah, whoever has the time and it fits.
Yeah, when I was breastfeeding, just in the beginning with the crazy nights when, you know, if you've ever breastfed, when the baby's brand new, those little 5-minute nursing sessions aren't a thing yet. They just aren't a thing yet. That baby has to learn how to effectively get milk out. So the first feeding sessions take from like 20 to 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like you're nursing forever. And so I'm up there with my nightstand filled with my snacks and water. And so I get up and Owen, we didn't know it was because of his allergies at the time, but every time I breastfed, he pooped. It wasn't just like a pee diaper. Like he filled it up every single time. And it never failed. He would nurse, and either while he was nursing or right after he burps, he would poop. And so I would nurse him, and then Brian would get up, change his diaper, and then we would all go back to bed, you know? Mm-hmm. Or I would get a head start on going back to bed. Yeah. And it was teamwork, and it made me feel like I wasn't alone, like we were in it together. And, you know, everyone's like, well, he got to go to work the next day, but also I have to keep a human alive the next day. Yeah. Like it's not... To me, it's crazy to think the person who has to keep a life, you know, keep another person alive, a person who's literally depending on you every minute of the day, that new, you know, it's okay for them to go with only 2 hours of sleep versus share the burden, and then you get a little bit more sleep and he gets a little less sleep, but...
Yeah, you just gotta value each other's roles. That's the same, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not valuing my job as providing right now financially more valuable than you being a mother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just to, I was just thinking about that, just to piggyback off what you were saying earlier about, like, not doing it from like, anti-parenting. Mm-hmm. Most time you're in a place of fear of you not wanting to be that parent, you know? And when you're working out of fear instead of like love, like there's no good result out of it. Yeah. You know, and when I started to just do things out of my love for you instead of being anti my dad, those things were more productive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't acting, or I wasn't feeling unappreciated when I was acting in love, and when I wasn't acting in love and just fear, a lot of times I was just doing things or handling things, and then I'm feeling as appreciated, you know?
Yeah, same. Like when I learned to not anti-wife like my mom, I learned how to speak up. Like, if you kind of know me, you'd be like, oh, Rosalind ain't never gonna hold her tongue. But if you really know me, to avoid conflict with the people that I really care about, I'll bite my tongue, or I'll hold on to it, and then I'll create an inner narrative where it's always you think less of me, or you feel resentful or spiteful towards me, and things like that. It used to be that. I'm much better about that now, but I used to hold my tongue and say he doesn't appreciate me because I didn't want to nag. I didn't want to like bother him all the time. You work so hard. You're always, all these things, and you're doing the best you can, and just complaining, Yeah. When it's not complaining and nagging, if it's a real issue. And so you should speak and you should bring it up, because, what we were watching, the How Married Are You podcast. It's a good podcast. And they brought up the subject of having peace inside of you or peace within your marriage. And sometimes that's a choice you have to make. And I was always choosing peace in the marriage. Gotcha. And never peace inside of me. Which peace in the marriage can come when everyone's at peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of like if you're choosing peace within your, like, in the marriage, and choosing not to talk about it, it's not really peace.
It's not sustainable.
No,
because it's not truly peace, because you are two members of the marriage, and if one person is unsteady or not at peace, then that marriage is at risk, Yeah. And so if you're choosing the marriage over individual peace, there has to be a balance, And so you can't selfishly choose your self-peace over the marriage to the point where you do over complain and over nag, because every little discomfort you got to fix that, some things you have to learn to live with. But I had to learn how to speak up so that I can have peace inside of myself, and consequently we had more peace in our marriage because of it. But I was doing that initially, not speaking up and holding my tongue, because I didn't want to seem like a nagging wife. I didn't want my husband complaining about me the way my dad would complain about my mom, And so I would just be quiet in all the worst ways. So now I can speak up. And not only do we feel closer because of it, he understands me more, but I feel more loved too, because he shows that he cares about what's going on inside of me, and he has a desire to adjust the things, because some things are pretty easy to adjust if you say something.
Yeah. And getting used to, like, I think a lot of times we don't know how to handle conflict. You know what I'm saying? I know I didn't. Like, my avoidant nature, you know what I'm saying? My avoidant attachment.
Well, and you didn't see conflict resolution growing up. You didn't see how to manage disagreements and conflict. Your parents fought behind closed doors.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
And mine fought.
So yeah,
yelling, screaming, throwing things. Like, I grew up, me and my sister holding each other in a room crying while we hear dishes flying, like, So I didn't see healthy conflict resolution either.
Yeah.
So that's something we have had to learn. That's why we argue in front of our son. We don't argue or like fight. Oh, this little hair is bothered. There it is. Sorry. We don't fight, but we have disagreements, and we respectfully disagree, and we have conversations where we don't agree, and we talk it out in front of him all the time, because it's important to model that for him.
For him to see that even if we're not all good, we still are good.
Yes.
And that's okay to have, and then also, even if it feels like it's a conversation that we need to talk about later, we even chose that we can take a break. Because there's some conversations, like, it's just not to be in front of him and us talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but there's a lot of opportunities where we are talking in front of him. He's around and he gets to see that, okay, mommy wasn't happy about this, daddy wasn't happy about this, but they're still okay. I'm not scared of them going apart and
his
leaving.
foundation is steady.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's even funny. He went to school and he was telling one of the kids he was in conflict with, "You gotta learn boundaries."
You gotta set boundaries. You gotta learn,
You gotta learn boundaries. And I mean, it was funny. His teacher was cracking up telling us about it. But the important thing is he recognized that, but also he's expressing what has been modeled to him. Mm-hmm. And that is respectful disagreement and setting boundaries, because that was a boundary setting situation. And yeah, it's funny, but I was pretty proud of him. I learned boundaries. The other 5-6-year-old didn't know what that meant, but
yeah, I think our conversations about, especially just going back to the roles of talking about, this works for me now, this works for you now. Like, hey, I'm gonna have to cook more because you're getting off work later. Yeah. Or there were plenty of times where I had to go in. Hey, I need your help cooking. You know what I'm saying? My schedule switched. So
yeah, Brian does more cooking. I'm working more traditional 9 to 5 right now, and Brian's doing more like working from home or entrepreneurial stuff. So he has more time flexibility, and so I don't get off until 6, and Owen's bedtime is 7:30, and so he needs to eat at decent time. So Brian cooks when I have to work, and when I'm off, I cook. So that means Brian cooks more than I do. Yeah. And he's in charge of the menu usually, and I'm looking at him like, "What's for dinner tonight?"
Yeah, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm making lunch, I'm taking care of that, and that's what she was doing while I was working 50, 70 hours a week. Taking care of that. So it's like the roles have kind of reversed in the sense of who is taking more care of the home stuff, but we had those conversations. Yeah. And I think if we just didn't have those conversations, like expectations,
I would have naturally fallen into that.
You would have naturally did something.
Yeah.
Or it would have been like she would have been suffering in her silence, and then I would have been, oblivious to her needs, because I'm just like, okay, we're just doing this. You know, I'm seeing the goal of, hey, everybody's taken care of, and then she's taking everything that is just left on the floor instead of just talking. So I think it's important to have those kind of conversations so we're not both feeling like, why you say nothing?
Especially as life is shifting, right? So we are currently in transition, but like as transitions happen or life changes happen, like revisit, because what we were doing before, we were doing every other night. Yeah. We were changing like every other night. So if I cook, I put him to bed, and then you have the night off, Yeah. And then the next night you cook and put him to bed, and I have the night off. And so that's how we would do it. We would plan like our social life around that. Like if I want to go out with my friends, or if he wanted to hang out with his friends, like we would plan it on a night where we didn't have to cook and take care of Owen. But life looks different now, so we had to revisit that. Yeah. And hopefully in another few months here it'll look different again. So we'll revisit that. I think it just is what it is. He's more into the authoritarian role right now because I'm not around as much. So you want to come cuddle for a minute or two past your bedtime? The answer is always yes. Yeah, it just is. The limited time that you have. Right? Because it's the limited time. Yeah, and so it's not because I want to, mess up Brian's schedule or spoil him. It's just that we need that time. And if you're trying to steal 2 minutes or 1 minute, you ask to cuddle for 1. I'm saying 2 or 3. I'm gonna wait 3 minutes before I set the timer. Like.
No, I keep you back on schedule.
I'm getting that.
I keep you back on the schedule.
I'm getting that time where I can, and it's usually sweet moments where we do actually talk, and it's beside the point. But yeah, so you're falling more into that authoritarian role. Yeah. Where it's these are the rules, this is what you need to do, and I am more lax on some of the things. And I say yes a lot more now than I did before. Before it was pretty equal.
Yeah.
But now I'm like a stereotypical mom, like the easier, the one that says yes more often.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think it's just because he has more opportunities to ask me stuff, you know, and
Yeah.
that's all it is. It's just, you know, of course you get to know that parent. You're like, I'm not gonna get away with that one, you know. So he tries to, of course, play both sides, like.
But we do still do a pretty good job of staying on one team.
Page, yeah.
Even earlier today, he asked me something and I said yes after he asking Brian, and Brian said no, and I didn't know, and I took it back.
Yeah,
as soon as I knew, I said, "Oh, Daddy already said no, so that's the answer. Nice try, though." You know.
Yeah.
So we, you feel how you feel, but he's learning that whoever says whatever, that's the answer.
Yeah, and that's what it is. But yeah, I say like, just I think revisiting every time a drastic schedule change happens is important.
Or if you're starting to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
If you're starting to feel
life is
getting much. That's another thing Yvette says on How Married Are You? She says if you're starting to feel whelmed, she was not overwhelmed yet, but whelmed. If you're feeling whelmed, don't wait till you feel overwhelmed. If it's feeling heavy or feeling like a lot, have a conversation, revisit it.
Yeah, I think there's just when we are checking up on each other and talking to each other and really communicating, because I think a lot of times both of the roles that you're playing has its own difficulties. I know that when she's working a regular 9 to 5, now she understands more of where's that creative energy, where's that extra to get other stuff done,
Cause listen,
yeah, but I think, and then also my understanding of, okay, there's so much on your mind that you're thinking about everything that has to do with everybody. So I'm not just thinking about chilling and relaxing. I'm thinking about, hey, I got Owen stuff. I gotta make sure Rosalind's okay, and then my stuff, and then just us as a whole. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of times where my brain is pinging back and forth, and then I'm handling stuff as it comes. You know what I'm saying? So like, I understand even more. It was probably even difficult for her because he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And then that child like
required more attention.
Yeah, just certain times. Yeah, he's just there. He's at school now, so it's like I get a little bit freer space, but it's like 2 hours like gone, and I'm getting ready for the afternoon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and it's summertime. He already said we just got done working outside in the garden, and he goes, "So what are we gonna do today?" I said, "We just did it." And he was like, "And what else, sir? Go find. I'm bored. That's good for your brain. That's where creativity is born. Go do so." He still does it now, but it's summertime, so we'll revisit this in another month and see how you're doing.
Yeah, but challenges come, conversations just need to be had.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And I think if people a lot of times did that, I think that's what really helped us, having those conversations when things need to change, and no matter male or female, what position it is, whatever works for you, it'll work for you.
Yeah, don't worry about other people saying, like, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that because you're a woman or because you're a man. Like, really what works for you, because you get pigeonholed into that, identity of this is what, or that role of what a woman should be doing in her marriage and what a man should be doing in his marriage. And y'all will be so unhappy trying to fit into what everyone else says it should be like. And
For no reason. And even their approval the value of it is so low for what it can purchase in your marriage versus what it can take away. Like, you really, really letting go of that approval of other people, or societal approval, family approval, whatever, what's going on between your four walls and you and your spouse. Like, let it go, because that's the biggest thing. I will say that's been the source of, not the source, God is the source of our happiness, but it has really helped set the stage for our happiness. Is from the beginning in our relationship, we didn't care about
our family understanding.
Yeah, because we are the black sheep of our family.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. So we've grown accustomed to just not being, our views not being understood or seen that way. But just in the sense of, we saw the flaws of what the world was saying or just producing, because anybody who is happy in a relationship, they are happy doing and talking to their partner and figuring it out.
Yeah.
But it's never the people who talks about, hey, this is a man's job or that's a woman's job. Those people are usually unhappy and alone. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't, if you feel some type of way, yeah, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, you can't really be concerned about just somebody saying this is what you're supposed to do as a man and this is what you're supposed to do as a woman.
Yeah.
Both parties
are capable. And I encourage you, if you're someone who says that, to mind your business.
Yeah, or you probably don't have an equal. You're not dating an equal.
I'm just saying, if you look into someone else's relationship and say he shouldn't be doing that because he's a man, the woman should be doing that, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But they're happy. Mind your business.
Facts. Yeah, that ain't your business. It really ain't.
Mind your business and pour into your own peace.
Yeah, because you probably need it. That's the truth. Yeah. You probably need it. You probably just need to focus on yourself. Especially if you worry about somebody else's roles.
Because when I am my most critical is when I am my most unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah. You outside, if you looking at somebody and, man, you got some problems going on, you just got it. It is what it is. Everybody do it. But,
how did you feel about me this week?
How did I feel love about you this week?
Yes.
How did I feel love? There's a specific moment there's a moment I thought about.
Can we talk about it on here?
Not really. But well, that's like two things.
Okay.
No, I just think.
Talk about minding business. It's our business now.
Yeah, it is our business. I'm trying to think of just something that you did have something that made me feel loved by you. Oh yeah, when you text me, you miss me, and then you explain instead of
having an attitude,
saying where I'm at and what you doing. Or you don't love me. You just said you miss me.
I made a different choice this week.
Yeah, you made a different choice.
I did.
So that did make me feel love. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, she did love you. She didn't think the worst. She thought the best. She thought
you hanging out with my dad watching the game.
It was last night because it was game 7, and I was like, okay, like she said she missed me. I'm gonna go ahead and spend this time. It's a time off. Already.
You left the game.
Yeah, I left the game.
That's right, you did.
Yeah,
you just checked the score.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt loved by you now. Okay, well that definitely adds to it. That's
she
one
wasn't
of
even thinking.
I wasn't. No. Well, shoot, I forgot mine because that one was really good.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have 2.
Okay.
So I felt loved by you when you left game 7.
Yeah.
And the score was 3-3.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good game.
It was a tiebreaker game.
Yeah.
To come spend time with me. And I also felt loved by you when I had a confrontational conversation with a family member. And I said I was going to go talk to them. And it was a whole situation, but you just came and stood behind me. You didn't really say anything until I looked up at you. Because there's moments I'm like, am I sounding crazy? But you offered your physical support, your presence, and it helped me to feel more solid in that moment. And I didn't ask for you to come. You just did. And so that's one of the times I felt loved by you.
Nice, I got 2. See, I remember that too. I got 2.
That just means you weren't paying attention as much.
Oh, so you gonna put it over me so I wasn't paying attention just now? Okay. Alright. I'm be looking. I'm be keeping tally, keeping marks. I'm like, oh yeah, I felt that.
Good.
Alright. You too. Because you didn't notice that game 7.
No, I think I intellectually knew, like when you know in your head, but then it like really, like you didn't really get it.
I know, I'm messing.
Yeah, when you know in your head, and then because I remember you checking the final score, and I remember commenting on it, like, oh, okay, they won, Boston's out, blah blah blah. But it didn't sink in that you left before that.
I left into the first quarter. Yeah, first quarter. So it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Still an important game.
Yeah, still an important game, but.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime with you is better than.
All right, let's. Let's not get cheesy, okay?
Let's not get cheesy?
All right.
I'm trying to be real, you know what I'm saying? I'm just
saying. Talking smooth. You want more than moments you couldn't talk about.
Okay. Well, until next time, guys. Until next time, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us your moments. Tell us how gender roles affect you and how they affect your relationships, your marriage. And what people say and what you say. Like, what do you think? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's start this conversation.
And also, if you haven't yet, let us know what you're learning this week. I really am curious about that.
Yeah.
I might put something like that in my stories and just see.
Yeah. What are you learning this week?
Yeah. Curious.
Yeah. That's a good I guess content story to make. Yeah. I agree. Well, until next time. Stay blessed, guys.